Hi, welcome to Smarter Campaigns Candidate Training video blog. I'm Ben Eisenberg, president of Smarter Campaigns. Today, we're going to talk about what skills make a candidate special. Now, a famous political consultant used to say, in a tsunami, a lot of shit gets washed up on shore. And you know, a lot of times this is true. Look at the wave years, like in 2010. There's a lot of congressmen who you meet, and you really scratch your head wondering how in the hell they got elected in the first place. They seem like idiots. But each and every single one of them has some talent or skill that makes them special and allows them to stand out on a campaign. The reality is, no matter how awful a candidate is, if they have those certain skills, they can exponentially increase their chances of success. The skills that make a candidate great vary. Some can give a phenomenal impromptu speech with no preparation at all. Some can remember your name years after meeting you only once. Some can meet every single person in a room and create a feeling of deep personal bond within 30 seconds. All of these are skills that are useful for a candidate. So, I was watching C-SPAN a few days ago. Yes, people actually watch C-SPAN. And a parade of congressmen were speaking from the podium for 60 seconds each. It alternated Democrat, Republican, Democrat, Republican. And they do this, they give the congressmen 60 seconds on the floor so that they can get a video of them speaking about the important issues of the day, so that the congressperson can then show their constituents, hey look, see, I'm doing something, you can see me speaking here. And so watching all of the parade of congresspeople go by, I was particularly struck by how good and how bad some of them are giving at speeches. One of the best that I saw was James Lankford, who's the representative from Oklahoma's 5th Congressional District. He was really impressive. He spoke without notes, gave an impassioned plea, and looked directly into the camera. Now, I don't know whether it was scripted or rehearsed, or entirely impromptu, and that's irrelevant. It appeared authentic, which is the most important part. By comparison, there's a congressman from New York who clearly was reading his speech for the first time on the floor of the House. He had the paper up in front of his face. He mumbled words and forgot where he was going. He butchered his spot and had to start again. And it was really painful to watch. It was as if he really hadn't bothered to read what he was going to say before he said it. Remembering people's names is another skill that's really important for campaigns. As a candidate, you meet so many people, it's almost impossible to remember everyone's names. How can you be expected to remember everyone? Well, most people will cut you some slack, but if you repeatedly ask them their name, you're going to upset them. A former mayor of Philadelphia, on my 15th time meeting him in 3 years, asked me my name. I didn't vote for him. And there are a lot of other similar instances like that. This is why most candidates will say, nice to see you, instead of nice to meet you. It provides them a little bit of coverage because they don't remember if they've met you or not. And by saying nice to see you, if I'm meeting you for the first time and I say nice to see you, you might correct me and say nice to meet you, but for the most part you'll just let it go. So this sort of provides candidates a little bit of extra cover, but you should really make an effort to remember people's names. It's so important. So how do you actually remember someone's name when you meet them? Bracketing. So when someone introduces themselves to you, say their name back to them. Hi, I'm John. John, it's so great to meet you. The first word out of your mouth after they introduce themselves should be their name, and then great to meet you. At the end of the next sentence, use their name again. I'd like to ask you for your support, John. Most people like hearing their own name, and no one will notice that you're doing this, especially if it's not every other word out of your mouth. But if it's the first thing after they introduce themselves and the last word at the end of the second sentence, you've used their name twice in context, you're more likely to remember it. Afterwards, in your head, say their name 3 times. John, John, John. But you got to make sure that you're doing it in your head, because you look like a crazy person or an idiot if someone says, "Hi, I'm John," and you say, "Oh, John, John, John." No, don't do it like that. Try the bracketing approach. It's much more subtle and will actually help you to remember names. So there's so many skills that allow a candidate to succeed, and even the most terrible elected officials have some of these skills that allow them to stand out. So I encourage you to think about what your own personal skills and strengths are. Thank you for watching our video. Please like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and subscribe to our YouTube channel.